what does the word brand really mean to you as a marketer, and how do you think that a brand, that a company should go about in cultivating its brand image on social media and other digital channels?
Right. So I would say brand is like a surname, right? So if you say when you say a brand, it should resonate. It should leave something in your mind. There has to be that power of resonation of something. So when we talk about Tata, it stands for trust, which we see. When in being inside Tata, I've observed that for a year now, that Tata stands out for trust, right? Apple stands out for class. No matter we have so much of competition in the mobile industry, but from the time that when I first purchased my Apple, and I'm still using Samsung, I'm not using Apple, but still, Apple stands for class. You look at Cadbury, right? It talks about affection. It does not talks about the taste of the chocolate or the sweetness. It talks all the advertising that they do, anything that they talk about their brand, whether it's an ad they will put up during Rakhi or Diwali or in general, it only talks about affection. So I think brand is something which becomes like a surname to you, that when I look at a particular brand, or when I hear about a particular brand, there's this kind of that emotion or that thought that triggers in my mind, that this is the value of it. So one should be able to resonate that value type with a brand. People aspire to work in many companies just for the brand, that because they love that brand, let's say Harley Davidson or Google or whichever. They would have probably never entered the stepped into the organization. They don't know anything about the work culture. They don't know how it will turn out to be for them, but it's their dream. They just work on it because they have developed a brand image of that organization, that it's a happy place for me to work, right? So, and these people, and the way you set up this brand image in people's mind, they are your brand custodians. Like when I'm talking about with so much of passion about Tata or Apple or Cadbury, now I am an automatic brand custodian for them. If tomorrow, if I'm talking to any 3 to 4 5 people, I will automatically suggest these names. It's like a free marketing, right? So, like for example, in my industry, I'm working in a B2B area in cybersecurity. I can do two things, right? Either I can create fear around cybersecurity, that there is a lot of fear, there are too many attacks happening, we are always at risk, this is what can happen with you and all that. On the other side, I can create awareness around it, right? That this can happen with you, this is how you can protect yourself, this is how we can help you, or be wary of these things. So I think it all depends on whether I want to make my brand a fearful brand, like a fearsome brand, and people might run away from me, or somebody who's making you, like giving a problem, but I'm also trying to give you a solution around it. So I think as a marketer and as a consumer, I see brand is the value, which will, if you are able to create that, and some of the best and the biggest brands in the world have just done that. You talk about Subway, you talk about McDonald's, you talk about any brand. That's exactly what they have done, and they have done it and left it. If they don't do any marketing, any advertising now, nobody can still beat them.
Yeah, and one thing that I really liked about what you said is about brand and emotion, and about how a particular emotion is always, each brand has a particular emotion attached to it. So more than the company trying to sell their brand or trying to promote themselves, it's more of what reaction they're able to provoke from their potential consumers. And like you mentioned, Apple naturally it provides a sort of emotion of having class or luxury, and you have Cadbury, which is more of affection, and sort of it takes you back to that nostalgic place. So I think that's a very sort of potent combination with brand and emotion.
Yeah.
Now,
In fact, let me just give you two another examples which were part of my MBA course study. So, like for example, the smaller part would just be, let's say, about Nike. So Nike is not about running, right? We know that when we wear the shoes, we are wearing it to run, right? But they promote, what are they promoting? They are not promoting the shoes, they're promoting the power to run, they're promoting that passion, right? So that's what Nike stands for. Just do it. Don't worry, whether what kind of shoes it is, the design. They don't talk about the aspects of the shoes. They only want to promote the power of running, the power of being active, energetic. So one of the other examples, which I've read it in one of the books, and it was a case study which was discussed with us during my MBA. There was this ad which was it's pretty old, out of Michael Jackson, where it was a Coke ad, and I think it was Coke, or Pepsi. Yeah, I think it was Coke. So what was happening during this ad was that Michael Jackson, he never used to drink cola, because of the voice thing and stuff. So they thought of bringing him to that, and it was quite a debate that somebody who doesn't drink and who doesn't promote, what will be the fine, what will be the use of bringing him to the ad. But what happened, and what psychologists study, was that every time Michael Jackson appeared in front of the people, right, there was this, this kind of rage of energy and this thirst which used to get triggered inside every human being because of his performance, because of his music and whatever lyrics and everything as a combination. And we know that, right? We have been from the age of Michael Jackson. So what they did was they created that ad, and during the entire ad, he did not hold the brand, he did not hold the bottle, he did not drink it. Just during the time when the entire ad was almost about to end, and when you have psychologically observed that rage has been developed by an individual, they kind of pour down the Coke, and it automatically brings in that thirst inside you, as if I just want to run to the fridge and open up and have a Coke. So there was so much of science applied to that advertisement. And when we were told about this case study is the time I noticed that, oh yeah, he never even holded the bottle and he never drank it. So so that is the power of resonating of a brand value into something. And that's how some of the brands have achieved very, very classic ads, and the value that they have left in the minds of an audience.